If I can have your attention here in the media center and up in the press box, we will now begin tonight's post-race media availability in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, the Bass Pro Shops NRA Night Race. And we're joined by tonight's runner-up, Erik Jones, driver of the number 77 5-hour Energy Extra Strength Toyota for Furniture Row Racing. Erik, man, it looked like you were on the threshold of getting your first win tonight, and you drove the wheels off of that car. What was it like up there having the win that close?
Well, it's it's fun to have a night where you've got a really fast race car and you're up front leading laps, and it's also a burden at the same time because you're letting all those guys be behind you and get better and better and improve on their cars to gain up on you. You know, it's hard to get your car better when you're out front. You don't really know what you need. So we had gotten a little bit snug on the last run and unfortunately didn't have another stop to work on it. So I think that's kind of what put us behind the 8 ball at the end of the day, but strong run nonetheless.
Okay, we'll open up the floor for questions. We'll start with Jenna and work our way around.
Jennifer, AP. Erik, considering how strong you were, I mean, does this suck, not winning? And at what point did you know that it was over?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to sound like you're whining or being a sore loser by, saying it sucks to run second. But, I mean, it's a bummer. It hurts. You want to win every race you're in. And this was the first shot that I really had to come really close to it in the Cup Series. And Bristol's a really good racetrack for myself, and thought we had a shot at it all night, led a ton of laps. So yeah, it hurts. I mean, when you're that close and feel like you have that good of a car, it's just it's Kyle Busch. He won all 3 races here this weekend. So I feel like I'm close to him here, just trying to find that last little bit.
Kelly.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. 2 things, Erik. Disappointment aside of coming up 1 spot short, does a night like tonight, this performance, leading as many laps as you did, winning the pole, battling with Kyle, all that, does any of that give you confidence? Does anything for your confidence going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Chris on the way in here, and you know how it goes. You got to lose 1 to win 1, right? And we lost 1 tonight. I mean, we did. We led the most laps and didn't win the race. So we lost this one, and hopefully that gives myself a lesson and everybody a lesson of what it really takes to win these races. And obviously, they're not easy to win, especially this Bristol race. 500 laps is pretty tough. This is probably one of the most wore out I've been after the race, all year long. So it's just unfortunate. You try hard and you work hard all weekend and feel like you really had a good race car. And just when it comes down to it, you don't have quite enough. You don't have a chance to make it that much better. So that part hurts. But, I definitely feel like it's boosted my own confidence as well as the team's confidence. I think the team's really pumped up. We had great pit stops tonight. I don't think we ever lost a spot. That's a huge day for us. And there were a lot of positives we can take out of tonight, but, the only negative is we just ran second.
And you ran the top some, but you seemed really committed to the bottom. Was that by design? Were you committed to that, or was it more of what the car was able to do?
It was just where our car was best. I went up the top a few times in the middle of the race and just couldn't really find a lot of speed up there. And obviously we had a lot of speed on the bottom. Felt like nobody could really run with us on the bottom. So when it moved up to the top, I was a little worried knowing that we were tight on the bottom as it was. But we found good speed. We eventually burned the top end enough and got it high enough to where I felt like we had decent speed. And it just seemed like Kyle and I were trading lap times. He'd catch a little traffic. We'd run him down. I'd catch some traffic, lose him a little bit. And every time I got close to him, I'd just get my tires too hot. I just had to run it way too hard to make any lap time. So I was just right on the edge of it the whole time, which is not what you're looking for when in a great race car.
Go next to Kenny, then to Mike, and then to Daniel.
Kenny Bruce from NASCAR.com. Erik, your crew chief, Chris, he mentioned that this was one of the races that you guys kind of had circled, that it was one you thought you could win that would get you guys into the playoffs. Did you feel a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but did you feel like this was one of the races that you guys had the best opportunity?
Yeah, for sure. This was one I had circled when we really all season, but especially when we got knocked out at New Hampshire with a flat tire. I was like, okay, we need to win. What's the tracks coming up that are our best shot? And Bristol was definitely the one where I thought we were going to have the best shot to win. I felt like we had a really strong car in the spring, and felt like I could improve myself and improve what we had in the race car compared to what we had there. And we did that. We qualified on the pole and, led a ton of laps. We just, just didn't quite keep up with it. So, yeah, this was our best shot to win. Did I feel any pressure? No. I was just Actually, I felt just really calm this week. I really had a sense that we were going to run really well. I had a really good feeling about it. I feel really confident every time I come to Bristol, and kind of felt like we were going to be running up front, but just didn't have enough.
And you mentioned lap traffic. Obviously, it's everybody had to deal with it out there, but how difficult was it to maneuver around some of those cars?
It was difficult at times. I mean, especially in that 100-lap run we had, we caught some traffic that was. You're catching faster cars. Yeah, thanks. But when you catch those faster cars, it's just tough to pass them. I mean, they're not slow. I mean, you're passing cars in the top 15, so you get up there and it's just tough to maneuver around them.
We're now joined by our fourth-place finisher tonight, Matt Kenseth, driver of the number 20 DeWalt FlexVolt Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Matt, difficult race out there, but you had a fast Camry. Just talk about the rigors of running this race this evening.
The rigors of running the race. It sounded very dramatic. I like that. We were just we didn't start race very good. They made good adjustments, had really awesome pit stops. Got behind when we sped on pit road. We had a great 40-lap car, really, really fast, and then it would just get tight, and I just really couldn't do anything about it. So that run was just too long. I felt like if we wouldn't have got the caution and cycled the tires, I felt like I was making maybe a little ground on Erik, not a ton, but a little bit. But then after that cycle and we had that long run, we just really got tight, and I couldn't really do much with it.
Okay, we'll continue on here. We'll go with Mike, then to Daniel, and then we'll go upstairs to the press box.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Erik, Kyle's proven his abilities over and over again, but does it say something extra about him, what he did here this week, 3 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great feat. I mean, obviously he puts himself in the situation to win a lot of those races, and he still goes out and executes. I mean, it's not easy to do. I run my fair share of Xfinity races during the year, and he's winning 5, 6, 7, 8 a year, and we're not winning quite that many. So obviously he's doing a great job at that level as well. But it's every week. It's not people rag on him for the truck and the Xfinity stuff, but he does a great job on the Cup side too. Obviously he's had a ton of speed all year long. He probably should have had way more than 2 wins this year, but he's really on it. He's got it going on. He's got it figured out, and it's hard to keep up with him at times.
Daniel?
Daniel McFadden with NBC Sports. Erik, through 28 Cup starts and a half start here for Danny a few years ago, is this the most fun you've had in a Cup race so far?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's just the most these cars are so hard to drive on 1.5 and 2 mile tracks that it's hard to race. It's hard to race side by side. It's hard to race front to back. It's hard to really run side by side, and you don't really see the action like you see here with people, right nose to tail and throwing slide jobs and everything like that. So, yeah, I mean, it takes you back to, late model racing, really. I mean, more than anything, you're just on the gas, and you're not saving tires. You just hammer down and getting everything you can, which is a lot of fun. It's hard on you as a driver. I mean, it wears you out, but you definitely have a lot of fun. I mean, it's, if I had to rank it, this is probably the most fun I've had in a Cup race, yeah, for sure.
And Matt, when you got up there and were fighting with him and Kyle, what were you seeing out of what Erik was doing that impressed you, how he handled those last few laps?
Well, I didn't see him the last few laps. I think they were about a half lap ahead. But before I got tight, yeah, it was just it was a good race. It's kind of tough being the leader at times here. Not that I have been the last couple of races, but with that bottom like that, you're never sure when to get off the bottom, and when you're the first one up there, and they go rolling by you on the bottom, then you're like, man, I shouldn't have moved up so quick. But Kyle we both got a pretty good run up on the top, and it got mixed up and got in front of him, and then it just wore me down and passed me back, and I didn't see him very long. Just got a lot smaller.
Let's head upstairs to the press box.
Lee Spencer, motorsport.com. Erik, you had led 51 laps up until this point. You led 260 race high tonight. You weren't afraid to use the bumper. I mean, you did it respectfully. Is this going to be a big morale booster for the team going forward?
Sorry, what was the last part of that question?
Is this going to be a morale booster?
I was asking
for
Erik
the
how
team
you run
going
into
forward?
somebody respectfully.
Well, I thought he did it pretty well with you, Matt.
I didn't mean to hit Matt.
Did you hit me?
Just
I
barely.
said it was respectfully.
Anyways,
I didn't remember. You shouldn't have brought it up. Now I'm mad. You
Morale
guys
boost
laugh.
for
Wait
you,
till we
Eric.
leave here.
I think he can take you.
Takes
Morale
my ride
boost,
and he
Eric.
runs into me. All right, Lee, finish your question. Sorry.
You can finish your question now.
Was that a morale boost for you, that run, Eric?
Yeah. I mean, we had a good run at Michigan last week, and I felt like we had a shot to win. But tonight was really the closest we've come, all year. I mean, obviously we led a ton of laps and ran up front, and we didn't run out of the top three really all night. So when you have a car that fast and have a night that consistent and that good, it pumps everybody up. It pumps me up, pumps the team up. It's good for everybody. We just really did a good job as a team. We executed the best we could. We had great pit stops. I don't think we ever lost a spot, which is a huge day for us on pit road. So big step up in that department, and just a good day overall for the team.
We're going to next go to Nate and then to Christian.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. I'm on your left, Eric. All kidding aside, the guy beside you does have some extra motivation, I think, to try to beat you. Was that on your mind at all when he was chasing you there with the laps winding down?
No, not really. I mean, I think when you're out there, you just see it's just another car to pass. At least I'd assume that's how most people look at it. That's how I look at it. Yeah, sure. I mean, you get to some guy and you're like, that guy wrecked me last week or something like that. But for the most part, as long as you don't have a grudge with the guy, and it's just another competitor. So you race everybody as a team. Your teammates, and you race them like teammates for the first 300-400 laps. But when it comes down to the last 100, 150, I mean, it's time to go, and you're just racing everybody for the next spot. Yeah, I mean, I get. I don't really think about it.
Christian?
Christian Coley on pitroad.com. Eric Jones, this is a question for you. So we're entering two of the tracks that Furniture Road did very well last year. Do you feel like this momentum from these last two races can really carry into the next two and maybe land you a spot in the playoffs?
Well, Darlington's going to be tough for us. I mean, Darlington is tough for anybody. I've only been there once, and it doesn't really fit how I drive. It doesn't fit my style of racing. It's something I've been learning. These, the low grip tracks, wear out your tires really bad. I haven't figured out 100% in these race cars what you need. So I do think we'll be, I think we'll run well. I just think it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge than, say, when we come to Bristol, where, I feel really comfortable and confident in what I need in the race car and feel like I can tell Chris exactly where I need the car to go. So Darlington will be a challenge, but Richmond will be good. I think we had a fast car there in the spring. We just got cut tire there on lap 5 or something. So we just need to, have a good race at Richmond. I feel like I've learned a lot there the last few times I've been there and ran a lot better.
Any additional questions? Jenna?
Jenna Fryer, Associated Press. Matt, your mood is so good, and some people might have needed that win, might not have a job for next year, might be in a bad mood. What's keeping you so happy?
I mean, I don't really have anything to be unhappy about. I mean, I shouldn't say it. You should knock on wood, because things can turn on a dime. But my life couldn't be much better. I've never really been in a better place. I don't think I've ever been happier. There's more life than racing. I mean, yeah, I wish it all kind of maybe would have went down a different way, or I had another year or two there. But it's just not the way it worked out. So, I think everything happens or doesn't happen for a reason, and it'll all become clear. And I'm pretty happy. I'm not really worried about it. I certainly wanted to win tonight, though. I'd be happier if I would have won. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. Thanks for noticing.
It's all that bike riding.
Yeah.
We'll go to Kelly, and then we'll finish with Daniel.
Matt, the good news is the guy next to you didn't win, so that didn't bump you out of the playoffs with 2 races to go. But going forward, how do you look at Darlington and Richmond? Do you still feel pretty good about either pointing your way in or maybe getting that win?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have liked to see Erik get the win. It would have been fine with me. I wasn't really thinking about the playoffs. That would have been another one of our cars, with a win, and put another, basically JJR Furniture Road Toyota, in the playoff grid. So, You know, I don't know. I guess there's only 2 races left, so somebody's going to make it by points. I don't even know where we are. I don't even look at it, to be honest with you. But if we don't get a win the next 2 weeks, you know, hopefully we get in. Obviously, we'll be really far behind if we do get in. But we are running a lot better as of late. We've had some solid finishes. Last week wasn't, but we've definitely been closer to being in contention for wins. So I do feel like if we get in, that everybody on the team's doing, you know, they're performing really well right now. We had great pit stops, and Jason made some good adjustments tonight, and kept us toward the front. So I do feel like we have a little bit of momentum at the right time. We need more, but I feel like we have some at the right time if we can get in.
Erik, you talked about how it felt like your old modified days out there tonight. Given that, what are some of the most important lessons you've learned in your starts here over the last few years that helped prepare you for the situations you were in tonight? And last, what factored into your choice of music for the intros today?
I'll be honest with you on the music part. First off, I forgot to pick a song, so I don't even know who picked my song. I don't know. That's not really how it's supposed to work, but I don't know. I don't know who picked that. So I was a little surprised when I walked out. But on my short track days, I drive this track like I drive Winchester. I mean, that's it. Just ask the car to do the same things that I did at Winchester a few years ago. We were successful there, won a lot of races, and came here and thought, well, this place looks a lot like Winchester, so drive it like Winchester, and that was about it.
Kenny?
KennyBruceNASCAR.com. For both you guys, you've run in the other series as well as Cup here now. How difficult is it to accomplish something like Kyle has done, win the truck race, win the Xfinity race, and win the Cup race in the same weekend?
Well, I'd say the most difficult part is the 3 different teams. You know, it's 3 different crew chiefs, 3 different cars. I mean, they all drive different. I mean, it's just tough. I mean, it's 3 different racetracks, really. I mean, the way they move around and everything else. So keeping up with all that is challenging. I know running double duty isn't easy necessarily. I've ran triple duty a few times in my career, and it was something I honestly never want to do again. So I respect him for that. He's a hardcore racer. You know, he really commits himself to that, and you know, he does a really good job with it. He doesn't let it affect his Cup racing at all, and it's pretty impressive that he doesn't let it affect it.
Matt, your thoughts?
Me too. Well, I've never raced a truck. I haven't raced Xfinity in about 3 years, and I haven't won a Cup race in over a year. So for me, it'd be pretty hard to do any one of the 3, it feels like, right now.
How impressive is it?
Pretty impressive. You're welcome.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Well, y'all put on an impressive show this evening, and we thank you for coming in. Good luck in Darlington in 2 weeks, and enjoy your week off.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.